the name Haarlem to Hope is that the first people that planted grapes in South Africa were the VOC, Cape Dutch Indian Company. And basically they sent a guy called Jan van Riebeeck in 1652 to come start a halfway station on the spice trade between Europe and the East. When they left Holland, they left from Haarlem, which was then the capital of Holland, not Amsterdam as we know today. And they came to the Cape of Good Hope. At that stage, the Cape was called Cape of Good Hope, which it is actually still today. So the wine is called Haarlem to Hope. It's because it tells the name, the first people that planted grapes in the southern tip of Africa, where they came from, Haarlem, and where they went to, Cape of Good Hope. So that's a Haarlem to Hope. When they left Holland, they had no vines on board. And when they arrived here in the Cape of Good Hope, they had vines on board. So where did they get it? They stopped along the coast of France, on the west coast, on a city called La Rochelle, and they picked up 4 varieties. Now, and that is how we know this is the first 4 varieties planted in South Africa, because we went down on the ship record. Now, a VOC captain could do a lot of things, but they got arrested if they didn't keep track of everything that went on board and off board. That was absolutely important. So on the ship records, we knew now that they picked up Chenin Blanc, Semillon, Muscat de Frontignac, and Muscat d'Alexandria at La Rochelle, and those were the first 4 varieties planted in the Cape. So and Haarlem to Hope from B. Vintners is then a blend of the first varieties planted in South Africa. This wine have 61% Chenin Blanc, 36% Semillon, and then 1.5% Muscat de Frontignac, and 1.5% Muscat d'Alexandria. So, so that the wine has quite a lovely story in the sense that, as I said, B. Vintners focused on heritage, but we also look at the future. So we made a Chenin Blanc blend with the other 3 varieties that together with Chenin planted first in the Cape. So that is where the name comes from. That's where the idea and the concept comes from. Now, this wine is now only in its 4th vintage that we released, and sorry, 5th, and 4 of them has got Platinum 5-star 4 consecutive years in a row. So it scored pretty much 90 from everybody that writes wine. So, and it's considered as one of the leading Chenin Blanc blends in South Africa. What I must also maybe to put this in perspective, when I started Raats in 2000, Chenin Blanc was relatively planted, but it wasn't used for quality winemaking. So the idea first was to create a quality Chenin Blanc production from South Africa to establish that. But what have pretty much happened in the last 5 years is that the second wave of innovation came in, that people started doing Chenin Blanc blends with various different varieties. We are currently the only one that uses the Muscat varieties with the Semillon and the Chenin. So this is, from a South African perspective, a very, very unique blend. And what makes it that differentiation, there is people that blend Chenin with Semillon, but what makes this wine very unique is the fact that we use a bit of the Muscat varieties as well. So that differentiated makes it a very unique wine from South Africa. And if you taste it, you'll see it. It's got a lot of viscosity. It's got a lot of weight. It's got that lovely sort of yellow fruit flavors, golden delicious, sort of quince, white pear from the Chenin Blanc, and it has that lovely lemongrass freshness from the Semillon, and then there's a little floral character and that comes from the Muscat. I don't think if you taste the wine or smell the wine, you'll pick up obvious Muscat flavors, but what the Muscat definitely adds to the blend is it gives it that lovely floral character. On the palate, you'll see that the wine has got this lovely viscosity and weight, and with this lovely finish. So we use the Chenin Blanc part we use in older barrels for 9 months to give the structure and that weight, and the Semillon gives that freshness. We harvest the Semillon at about 11% alcohol. So if you harvest Semillon a bit riper and later, you sometimes get that oiliness, which we don't want, but we want that creaminess and texture in the wine that we get from the Chenin in old barrels. And then the Semillon provides that lovely acidity, freshness, and that lemongrassy sort of effect you see in the wine. So that is how we designed the wine to put together with these 4 varieties. And that's pretty much what we will continue doing with Forbie Vintners in terms of that.